or his wife is such a pain in the ass because she keeps coming into the business as if they still owned it. And see, you guys won't tell the fat cunt to get out. And I say that, some of you look at me, you won't. I guarantee it. Right? I take the old bitch and throw her out on her flabby ass. Literally. You won't do that. So the model has had to be modified for the cunt mentality, or the spineless cunt mentality we currently have. First of all, you don't have to join the Chamber of Commerce in America. Everything's voluntary. And when things are voluntary, they get sloppy. The second thing is he said when he got tougher. It's going to be consistent across the board. There's only a couple of people you're going to hear were started tough. Okay? Everybody else, as Margot said, I wanted to be liked. I wanted to be a pleaser. Like you guys. Not just you, but everybody that comes here. The next thing that was, he said a lot of important things, but the most important was the fact that 4 employees or more. You don't want to waste your time if it's a single proprietorship. In other words, one guy and his dog, or one guy and his secretary. I mean, you want a business that can function after the seller. And when we talk about the model and utilizing it, you want them to stay between 6 and 12 months, the motivated seller. 6 and 12 months. And we'll differentiate what's the difference between why 6 months and 12 months. Now, we've had guys buy businesses, you want the guy out of the company in 6 hours because he's such a pain in the ass. Or his wife is such a pain in the ass because she keeps coming into the business as if they still owned it. And see, you guys won't tell the fat cunt to get out. And I say that, some of you look at me, you won't. I guarantee it. Right? I take the old bitch and throw her out on her flabby ass. Literally. You won't do that. So the model has had to be modified for the cunt mentality, or the spineless cunt mentality we currently have. Back in the old days, like, I'm a hammer closer. I mean, the rumors and legend, I have choked people. I have put pens in hands and signed after they died. I've had people die at the closing. I will neither confirm nor deny whether any of those are true, but that's the reputation I have. And especially in Europe, my reputation precedes me. When I say, if you tell me you're going to buy this motherfucker, you's going to buy this motherfucker. If you didn't want to sell it, then you shouldn't have told me, asshole, that you're going to sell it. Another thing, he says, now this is pre-corona. He's still closing deals, or his wife is such a pain in the ass because she keeps coming into the business as if they still owned it. And see, you guys won't tell the fat cunt to get out. And I say that, some of you look at me, you won't. I guarantee it. Right? I take the old bitch and throw her out on her flabby ass. Literally. You won't do that. So the model has had to be modified for the cunt mentality, or the spineless cunt mentality we currently have. But he's too busy to talk to us right now. He always went to see him. I said just before we put him on that you've got to go to see the property, even in the Corona era. You cannot buy a pig in a poke. You have to go. And that's normally when you're doing your final due diligence. Normally, due diligence is made over more than one trip. But in this particular case, in the environment, certain parts of the world you just can't get to. You better get to them, because don't tell me QLA doesn't work because you bought something that you didn't go see. None of your directors were interested enough to go look at the asset. Then you bought a pig. You've got to go see it under any circumstance. That's why Thomas is in California right now, doing his Corona era due diligence. And not all your board members are going to be willing to travel around. But the final meeting, which is you walking the property, you should walk, especially now if you made 8 acquisitions like Thomas already has, you know what you're looking for. But on your first acquisition, you want probably your industry expert and one other. You don't bring your chairman out because Corona's not going to be forever. You don't drag your old chairman out for bullshit. You only drag your chairman out when, something's gone wrong, sideways. Then you bring the old gal or the old guy out with the big guns. But most of what he's described so far is all Skype and Zoom and whatever those other things are called. Okay. The other point he made is he's an organized guy. He comes from project management. So some of you have already discounted what he said because you don't know anything about project management. So that's your excuse not to do it. I've been doing this a long time. I could see in your eyes. I was going to cut that part out. But as soon as you said, I'm used to big project management, the expression, the muscles in your face sagged. Because you don't have that experience. You look for every single thing. Now, when a good-looking girl walks in the room, how long does it take you to figure out she's a good-looking bitch? Instantaneous, right? When a good-looking guy walks in the room, how long does it take you to know he's a handsome guy or not? Immediately. Well, this is no fucking different. This is no different. You don't think, well, she's too good looking for me, or maybe some of you do. I always thought that's a new set of panties I'm going to get in hold of. That's how I looked at it. Another one to strike down and put a notch in my fucking belt. I didn't even go through the calculus of whether she liked me or not. Well, I didn't go through the calculus whether she was attracted to me. I went through the calculus, fuck, I can't get too many more notches on my belt now. I got too many. Back in those days, there was a thing going around, not the internet, that the male organs could only produce between 30 and 35,000 orgasms. 30 and 35,000. I went to doctors because I was worried about running out. 30 or 35,000, not 3 or 500. So I've always taken a positive attitude. If it's there, I can do it. And I've only been around, when I had the choice of who I could be around, which was almost since I got out of school, I hung around, not hung, but I exposed myself to high performance people that didn't know, like Elon or Steve Jobs, that didn't know that you couldn't do it. Another comment made, which is worthwhile, remember he has different funnels. He's got a sales funnel, he's got a banking funnel, he's got a potential seller funnel, and even if they said, call me back in a year, he called them back in a month. I used to call him back in a week. One of the questions is going to come up, how often is too often to hound these people for an answer? There's different ways of saying it. Does everybody understand what I just said? I call them, in some cases, I talk to them at 8 in the morning, then I call them at 5 in the afternoon. That same day. Never did I go more than 72 hours. Never. Time is money. We can get money back, but we can't get time back. Now, nobody in this room is even remotely as old as I am, but you're running out of runway. You're running out of runway. And for those of you that are young kids, 20, 21, don't let anybody tell you you're young, you got plenty of time. You tell those people to fuck off, especially if they're your parents. Fuck you. Do I want to turn out like you, Mom? Do I want to turn out like you, Dad? But nobody, no, you're all going, you're full of shit. Nobody's going to do that. That's why I'm here and you're there. We have a double Harvard Hall of Famer, double degree Harvard, which doesn't mean shit, but he happened to get 2 degrees from Harvard, who says, infamously, Mr. Pena says things we don't even dare to think in the inner recesses of our mind, which is true. And I've always had a big mouth, and I've gotten a lot of trouble for it. A lot of trouble. But again, I'm here and you're there. So how has your program worked out? It hasn't, has it? By the time I was the average age of this group, I was already rich.